Nice opinion. Just one tiny problem with it. Inspecting your post, it looks like your opinion is different from mine. Let me tell you something. I am the baseline for opinions. Any opinion I hold is objectively correct, and as a result, any other opinions are wrong. Guess what? You happen to hold a wrong one. I hope you know that your opinion is now illegal. I have contacted the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Navy SEALs, Secret Service, and your mom. You'll be sorry you ever shared your opinions. By the time you're reading this, you'll be done for. Nature will punish you. Humanity will punish you. Supernatural beings will punish you. Space will punish you. We decided just to make sure we'll nuke your house from orbit, so there's no chance you can run away. Everyone will know you will die. It's a small price to pay to remove your wrong opinion from this world.
시작. 자, 나 잠만 소원 빌게. 좋았어. 늦네. 오케이. 이렇게 볼게. 고마워.
All right. Hello. All right, time for some Johnny Somali stuff. So I will link all this in the description. Anyway, but let's.
Performing on the biggest stage in the world was just one step in my journey. Hi, I'm Ronnie, and I teach people all over the world how to dance with their dogs.
We now have confirmation of Johnny Somali's second deepfake. We know exactly what this deepfake is, the one that's going to be brought to trial. And because of who it is, Johnny may be absolutely cooked, of course. I am Andrew Esquire, American attorney living over here in Asia, and this is a legal mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. Of course, this is our continuing coverage of the Ramzi Khalid Ismail Johnny Somali case, and we are on this from start to finish. Of course, this is a fast facts version, so it's a condensed version of what is normally a stream, although this one I have not streamed on, so it's completely unique and completely kind of original as a fast facts version. So if you like this, let me know in the comments below. I do appreciate your comments on and support of the fast facts if you like them. I still do both streaming and this, so let me know what you like best. But let's get right into it. So Somali's second deepfake. Of course, we have a PowerPoint. Why is this important? It's important because one deepfake alone gets him anywhere between 6 months and 7 years behind bars. We went over the updated sentencing. So just one conviction.
Okay, so obstruction of justice, 1 year, 2 years free. So that's maximum. Okay.
He has 2 deepfake charges. And thus far, all of his defense, all of his eggs are in this basket focused on the female victim, Bong Bong, and trying to harass her, trying to hurt her, trying to bully her. And that hasn't worked. Bong Bong is still working out. She's still fine. I'm in contact with her. There's every reason to believe she's going to show up in August. She's going to be there. So it's very important to know that they have been focusing everything on her and ignoring this second deepfake. And even one of these deepfakes, either one, can get him 6 months at a minimum to up to 7 years, which is on the aggravated end. And once again, as we talked about in our sentencing guideline, Johnny Somali has all of the factors that would lead to an aggravated sentence. So we do believe that my prediction is, if he gets convicted even on one deepfake, 2 years, 3 months into 7 years, somewhere in this range is realistic in terms of time for Johnny Somali in a Korean jail. Now, what is the deepfake? Who is it? Well, the deepfake is of Jungman, and it's actually the Korean streamer Jungman, who I interviewed months ago. Now, there were some reasons why I didn't air that interview. Number one, I filmed it on my phone. It's not in a great quality because my computer died and my normal equipment died, so it's not of the best particular quality. But I did have some video of that, which I posted just now on my X, which we're going to watch later, just a little snippet. That's one reason why I didn't do it. Also, Jungman got in some trouble because in addition to covering Johnny Somali, he was also very politically active. And he actually threw a brick through the courthouse window of the courthouse where ironically Johnny Somali is is on trial. So ironically, he threw a brick through Johnny Somali's courthouse window. Obviously, he got in some trouble for that. It was a very controversial moment, and because of that happening at the time, I chose not to air that footage. However, months later, this becomes completely relevant, and taking that portion of the interview as it relates to the deepfake is very relevant because it shows his commitment to not drop this, which we're going to get to at the end of this. I'm going to show you the raw footage. But actually, this photo, it's actually Jungman and Hank naked, both of them. And of course, I've censored it here. And they are kissing and rubbing their bodies together, their naked bodies together. This is very graphic. Johnny did not just display this, he showed it to people for money, right? Once again, he used it in his commercial enterprise, his job, his streaming business. And that makes it particularly bad under Korean law. This is, of course, sexual. This is extremely sexual. They're both naked, rubbing their bodies together. It's implying that they're engaging in sexual activities and they're kissing. Yeah, this does not look good at all. But of course, Johnny and his people have not been taking it seriously, but he should, right? Even though he thinks in his mind, oh, we just have to worry about the female. It's only about females. They only care about females, period. That's not how the law works. The law does not differentiate between male and female. And just because that is a photo, or rather an AI-generated deepfake of Jungman and Hank, right, doesn't make it any different. It doesn't make it okay. And just because he might feel a different way about it than him personally and a woman, it's actually just as severe under the law. And just getting that conviction alone will get him a minimum of 6 months, whether or not he feels that's as bad as the female victim or not. So that's definitely something that is good to hear. Also, the only defense they have is they showed it too, or rather Jungman showed it too, because Jungman did show this clip on his stream. He did go and pull this up and say, look what these guys did of me. That's not a defense under Korean law. Saying, hey, they showed it too, or he showed it, or another person showed it, does not remove the criminality of the action at all whatsoever. So therefore, they really don't have a defense for this because it's very clear they, in fact, are conceding that he showed it. So they've really got nothing that's an actual defense for this deepfake. It's really open and shut. So let's get to the actual interview. I want to give you guys a little bit of taste of Jungman and his dedication and how he filed this, and kind of tying this interview I had back with him months ago with what we found out recently and confirmed through the Somali conviction team. So let's check this out right here. This is my interview. Once again, sorry, it's a little bit small here, but this is my interview with Jungman back a couple of months ago.
Of the biggest thing, number one thing, you still have a report, a goso, against Johnny Somali for deepfake, correct?
아직 조니 소말리한테 딥페이크 관련해서 고소건이 지금 진행 중이고 있는 건가요?
네, 며칠 전에도 이제 그 경찰서 가서 2차 조사, 피해 조사하고
I
왔습니다.
went to the police station even a few days ago for deeper inspection and investigation.
Okay, so that's ongoing right now, and you just went to the police stations. This is like new news.
새로운 뉴스군요. 최근에 이제 경찰서 갔다 오셨고 이제 이 사건이 지금 진행 중인 거.
그렇죠.
And
So, by the way, this happened months ago. So just understand this was new news filmed months ago. And it just so happened that when I interviewed him, he had just filed this deepfake charge. So isn't it funny how it all comes around?
also, I heard that they tried, Johnny and Johnny's attorney tried to settle with you for the deepfake. Is that correct?
딥페이크 관련해서 조니 소말리랑 그 측의 이제 변호사 측이
네.
합의를 요청했다고 하는데 혹시 사실인가요?
네, 이메일로 뭐 조니 수말리 뭐 지인이다 원하는 조건에 맞춰주겠다 이렇게 이메일이 저한테 왔는데 그게 변호사인지 아니면 뭐 한국진인지 모르겠는데 하여튼 저한테 이메일이 왔더라고요. 네.
He's not sure if it's from Johnny Somali's attorney or his just friend in Korea.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got an email saying that like I know Johnny Somali. If you tell us what you want, what's the deal? We'll try to match like your price.
So it could be that he doesn't even have a lawyer. He's just trying to settle it with a friend.
It could have been, by the way, it could have been Hank for all we know, because Hank's been trying to lawyer this the entire time. So that could have very well been Hank emailing, who knows, but it could have been that private attorney. We haven't confirmed that exact email chain, but this was, an offer to settle. They actually tried to get him to back down even months ago. And that's because they knew these deepfake charges were serious. At least whoever was trying to contact them was trying to make this go away because they knew, oh crap, the police are taking this seriously. So very important note here, guys. Very important note that pretty much as soon as they filed that, they were trying to get him to drop it and get it to go away.
약간 어쩌면 약간 변호사가 있는 것도 아니고 진짜 그냥 친구 불러서 그렇게 했던 걸 수도 있는.
그렇죠. 진짜 친구일 수도 있었던 거고. 아무것도 예상할 수가 없어요.
But here's the most important thing. Are you going to settle with Johnny Somali?
합의할 생각이 있으신가요?
저는 뭐 1,000만 원이든 1억이든 10억이든 소말리에 대해서 합의해줄 생각도 없고 그냥 그대로 처벌을 받길 원합니다.
No matter how much they call, like whether it's $1 million, like $1 billion, I have no intention of settling with Somali. I want him to be punished as for what he's done.
제발 빵 가기를 경고하겠습니다.
I really want him to go to jail.
Hear that? Doesn't matter if it's $1 million, billion, won, USD, does not matter. Not settling, really wants him to go to jail.
We did clip that. So yeah, there you have it. That's from that unreleased interview. I guess I felt it.
Yo, Nagranol, what's good, my nagger? So he's probably gonna go to jail. So Nagranol, how's it going?
In my bones a while ago that Johnny Somali would try to settle with people, would try to get them to not talk, to try to, hush them and get them out of the picture. Well, that hasn't worked. That's not going to work. And that's absolutely glorious news in this case that we have folks, both Bong Bong and Youngman, who are dedicated to pursuing this against Johnny Somali and putting him away. And like Youngman said there, he really wants him to go to jail. And I could not share that sentiment more. If you share that sentiment, smash the like button, leave a comment below, and I'll catch you on the next.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Respecto a internet,
that's
todo
the
funciona
understatement
bien
here.
y además es súper rápido.
Como un avión. If you like your
Is Jeremy still? Oh no, he's not. He just ended. Yeah, that today's been understatement is wild is an understatement. All right. Okay. Speaking of US.
The US and Russia may not agree on much, but they are absolutely set on the fact that neither of them wants Vitaly. Once again, this is Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney living in Asia and covering nuisance streamers like Johnny Somali and Vitaly. So in the case of Vitaly, we actually have a huge update today, and this is really big. We have both Russia and the United States have now officially said they will not take Vitaly. Even if he was going to be deported, they're not going to take him. And
Okay, also in terms of the deepfake thing, why it's also the thing needs to be thing is because this one also. So it says, which is all members being also been used as deepfakes, which deepfakes is illegal in Korea. So just as another reason why Johnny Somali should go jail for deepfakes because it's encouraging other things to do it in more serious cases, like a Korean entertainment agency and industry. Okay.
Beyond that, we have some updates on the procedure of the case, which is very, very pertinent. Of course, this is a fast facts version, which is a abridged version of my longer live streams. If you want to see my live stream where I really dig down into detail on this, please check out my latest live on Vitaly. So, of course, I've prepared for you guys a nice presentation here, which gives you an update as of today. Once again, June 1st, 2025. As information breaks, I endeavor to bring you the most accurate information, which gives you just the facts as we have them to the day, to the best of my understanding as a humble American attorney. Now, what do we have that's unclear? We've got a lot of false information about Vitaly that needs to be cleared up and a lot of stuff that's unknown. First of all, we actually don't know the legal procedure and exactly how long this is going to take. So initially we reported that the average time in the Filipino court system is 2 to 3 years for processing regular cases, but we don't know whether or not his case might be expedited or maybe it might be brought down a path where it could be adjudicated quicker. So we don't know how long it would be before he goes to trial. And we also don't know the particular judge, all of the prosecutors, etc. A lot of those court details, which are really pertinent when we try to cover cases as we cover them in the United States and in other jurisdictions, such as we cover the Johnny Somali, Ramsey Khalid Ismail case in South Korea. We should get that information next week, though, as the trial or the first step, which is the filing of the information, is scheduled for next week. We'll get into that. We also don't know exactly about the attendance and whether or not people can attend and what the conditions are. There's been some kind of conflicting information on that. There's a possibility of attendance. The other thing we don't know is we don't know his real physical or mental symptoms. We do know that he did try to get out based on a mental health defense. I covered this on my last video, my last Fast Facts video, which covered the fact that Vitaly brought up a mental health defense, which was really laughed at by the undersecretary and has now been officially rejected. They've rejected that plea to allow him to go under a mental health defense. So that's been completely rejected as of date. Further, we don't even know after he serves his sentence where he would go, because both Russia and the U.S. says, hey, we're not accepting him if he's going to be deported. Now, we have confirmed that it appears that he is a Russian citizen, therefore holds a Russian passport, but has a U.S.
So he's citizen of Russia, but also he's citizen of the U.S. and both don't want it.
green card. So it's kind of
okay. So he has a green card in U.S. So he's not a citizen of the U.S., but he has a green card in the U.S.
It's a weird situation of.
So he might get his green card removed potentially.
Like, who's going to take Vitaly? But we do know one thing. While it's unclear on who would take him, he will be serving that sentence in a Philippine prison. So he is not going to get special treatment. He's not going to get sent to a cushy prison in the United States or somewhere in Russia. He's going to be serving that in the Philippines, which is where he committed those crimes. Now, what we do have confirmed, and this is something that was confirmed by an article today, which if you want to see that article and dig deeper, check out my live stream. But that is unjust vexation, 3 counts. That is confirmed. So this is stuff that's solid information that we know is going forward. And what's going to happen?
Wix gives you the freedom to tell your story.
As prosecutors are going to file an information as of next week. Now, what that does is it locks down Vitaly's ability to essentially settle or get this thing to go away. So the time at which he can get this to go away is going to come up next week. His only real options are 2 things, which is essentially plead guilty or just sit back and deal with it. So thus far, he has not pled guilty officially. And what that could do is if he pleads guilty, he says he's sorry, he throws himself at the mercy of the court, they may adjudicate him more lightly. That may be what would be called a mitigating circumstance. Mitigating circumstance meaning making it less bad. This is something we talked about in the Somali case. If you're very, very sorry, that tends to go well in most jurisdictions, especially in Asia. If you are genuinely sorry and you say that publicly in front of God and everybody in the court and everything, you come out and say, I am sorry, that is taken as a mitigating circumstance.
I'm sorry. I'm lazy. I'm good. How are you? Aren't you playing Fortnite?
Circumstance, provided that's a genuine apology. Now, what could that sentence be? So on the lower end, I've seen the estimates at a couple of months, like 1 to 3 months. Once again, assuming he's convicted on the charges of unjust vexation. On the high end, I've seen 1 year. Obviously, there's a spectrum in between that. It could be land somewhere in the middle. A lot of the false information around the Vitaly case has really fallen around the sentencing. I know it's really easy to have clickbait titles that say he's going to go to jail for 1 million years or he's going to get the death sentence, but that's not simply true. It's just false.
And the likelihood it goes to for 36 is not even that likely either.
False information. That's a false fact, not a fast fact. By the way, smash a like if you like the fast fact videos. But it's something that I really try to be accurate on this channel. Now, I will say I get the information as it comes in, and I do update my coverage, which is why I cover nuisance streamers like Vitaly and Somali on an ongoing basis, because a lot of this information is not clear to begin with, and it becomes more clear and articulated as the process proceeds down the line in these legal proceedings. So at this point, we'll be very interested to see if he pleads guilty, and then once again, once we get to the sentencing, how long that is. Now, I know some people you have feelings about justice. And that's what I wanted to speak real quick, because in the comments regarding Vitaly, and whether you're a Vitaly hater or one of the very, very few Vitaly fans, they exist, but they're infinitesimal amount, or perhaps maybe you're somebody that says, hey, Vitaly did something wrong, but he doesn't deserve, 1 million years in jail. I think what this comes down to is an understanding of rehabilitative versus restorative justice. And this is a concept I wanted to explain because I think a lot of people understand this without it being articulated, but it's a good point of education for, I think, everybody out there in the chat to get educated on. And that is, in the justice system and in our penal systems, we have really two penal theories. One is restorative justice, the other is rehabilitative. Restorative focuses on the victim. So it's restoring and repairing the harm to the victim. So the victims were hurt, something bad happened. And people feel, and often do, that there needs to be something that a penalty that is assessed to restore that harm. A lot of people consider this old school justice, and indeed a lot of the classical systems were meant to give restorative justice. However, in some Western jurisdictions, they've had a lot of focus on rehabilitative justice, which is focusing on the offender and positive change. I actually think the best example of this would be Shawshank Redemption. If you've seen the movie Shawshank Redemption with the rain.
Oh, that's a good movie and a good choice.
Pouring down, and he comes out of the pipe, the sewer pipe, and he's cleansed. You're supposed to go through a healing, a catharsis, and wash away that and come out a different person. And one of the big debates that I see in the chat and I see in the comments and I see everywhere else is, which is best? Is one better than the other? Well, that's a cultural thing. And I think that's the most fascinating thing for me as an American attorney looking at other systems, is the weight they put on one versus the other. And it's not to say one is wrong and one is completely wrong and the other one's completely right. I think there's some sort of balance between them where, hey, yeah, if you could change a person, they could come out better. That is a good thing. But at the same time, there is a harm and there needs to be an offset for that harm. So there's some balance to that. I don't think it's all one thing or another, in my personal opinion, but I am very interested to know what you guys think in the chat versus Vitaly. Do you think that we should really focus on the harm to the victims? Or do you think, hey, maybe, a year in jail will do good for Vitaly? Maybe he'll actually think about his actions and come out a different person. Hey, maybe this will prevent other people from doing the same thing. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
And for the last, do I agree with this? Not at all.
New Airhead Sour Bars. They start sour.
Hi, I'm Carol.
And they stay sour.
Hi, I'm Carol.
Airheads have more fun.
Vitaly has found God and he is seeking bail, according to his defense attorneys. And this is just as we have news that new charges may be headed down the pike for Vitaly in the Philippines. Of course, this is the legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney here in Asia, and we've been following these nuisance streamers like Vitaly, like Johnny Somali on my channel from start to finish, all the way from beginning to sentencing. So we have an update today in the case of Vitaly, which has been really boiling over the last 2 weeks as the legal teams are now sparring with the prosecution, submitting an information this week on 3 counts of unjust vexation, while the defense is coming up with any reason to get Vitaly out from behind bars from serving time in a Philippine prison. And today we also had an interview, and this interview was quite telling, that just came out with the secretary in the Philippines, as well as comments from Vitaly's lawyers. That was, of course, to give credit here, aired on ANC. A changed guy, lawyer says Russian vlogger Vitaly seeks forgiveness, had no criminal intent. So I'm going to give you guys a translation from some of these interviews and these articles. Obviously, thank you to members of my team that have translated that and fans that have translated that. Thank you so much for that. And by the way, if you want to support my team that's been translating and doing a lot of work and other stuff related to Johnny Somali and Vitaly, you can head over to Ko-Fi/Andrew Esquire and drop a donation for the team. So we'll start out here with a little bit of the translation, and I'm going to read out what was said about Vitaly. So this is reported today. It is possible that additional cases will be faced by the Russian vlogger who was arrested for harassing Filipinos, according to the Department of Interior and Land Government. His lawyer, Vitaly's lawyer, told the news that Vitaly has changed his ways and is asking for forgiveness from everyone he had aggrieved. This is reported, of course, by Lisa Anguino, saying it's been 2 months spent in jail in the detention facility of the Bureau of Immigration. Complaints were filed against Vitaly after he harassed Pinoys in a mall and restaurant in Taguig City while live streaming. Next week, the hearing will start for 3 counts of unjust vexation, which should be happening very shortly. The prosecutor has already dismissed the charge of theft, but it's very likely, it's very possible that the vlogger is going to face additional charges, which could include what happened in Boracay. After investigation by the prosecution, said the undersecretary, Rumula, there are a lot of witnesses that came out, so they are currently being examined for the possible merits of the case. They're about to file it. Vitaly's lawyer told ABS-CBN News that Vitaly has gone through big changes during his 2 months in jail. He said if he is given the chance, he wants to personally ask for forgiveness from those he aggrieved. His attorney says he is better now because he has found his faith. We are a Christian nation. We believe in forgiveness, and I hope that we can arrive in forgiveness because this guy is really a changed guy and wants to seek forgiveness. In one statement, Rumula confirmed that he received a letter from Vitaly asking him to drop the charges. However, his lawyer had a clarification. So we talked about that, by the way, last video and last couple of videos, but there's a clarification. So they want to clarify the focus is not about dropping the cases, but forgiveness. So, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
This is after people gave him the pushback on this, and we covered this, and this information got out there about dropping the cases. So now it appears they're trying to shift the tactic to forgiveness.
Leave the metal to us. Metal supermarkets.
In Christianity, and try to make it not about dropping the cases. So, we can continue the case, right? Because it's about forgiveness.
Quite ironic, yes.
And it's about moral forgiveness, which is something that happens in your heart, not necessarily in a courtroom, right? Anyways, his attorney also filed for a motion for bail. If found guilty, he may be facing a sentence of up to 18 months, a year and a half.
It's also ironic since apparently he's not doing well in prison. It's 5 years before he even gets sentenced or the court thing. So quite the very convenient time to find God.
Half in the Philippines. So this is a very important turning point. And I want
if he actually legitimately did, then good for him, but he still deserves to serve out the punishment that he conflicted on people. This doesn't avoid him of any accountability of those actions.
To bring this up, and of course, as always, I do have a PowerPoint here. So let me throw this up on screen. And this is, of course, an update as of today. So the important thing to note here about Vitaly is right now he's got these 3 counts of unjust vexation. We talked about that. Those informations are supposed to be filed this week, sometime this week, maybe later this week, Thursday, Friday, we'll see. And the estimate, once again, on the low end is 1 to 3 months behind bars or up to 18 months. Now, what we have today is the fact that new charges are coming, which is very interesting because many people have been asking questions. Well, what about Boracay? There's a lot of things that went down in Boracay. And what are we going to do about that? Well, it seems like those may be able to come in the future. And in fact, we saw this in the Johnny Somali case where they initially pursued one charge, just a very simple, easy to prove charge of obstruction of business. And then they added on charges later. So this may be how it works in the Vitaly case, where they initially are going to go with something very easy, unjust vexation. That is a layup in the Philippines. It's been described as one of the easiest and most simple things to prove. So they're starting with the simplest thing to prove, but that doesn't prevent them from adding more later if the prosecutor feels it's justified. And indeed, many, such as you guys in the comments below, feel it's justified. In fact, if you feel more charges are justified, let me know in the comments. So they're also claiming he reads the Bible daily, and they're obviously appealing to the Philippines as a Christian country. As someone who spent a lot of time in the Philippines, I will indeed say the Philippines is a very Christian country. A lot of folks, as an American, a lot of folks point to America, Europeans, for example, point to America as being a quote unquote very Christian nation or Judeo-Christian nation. I would say by comparison, we all fall short of the Philippines. The Philippines probably falls short only.
I think Philippines is probably the most Christian country. I mean, it's kind of in their government as well. I mean, they're Catholic, but still similar thing.
Of the Vatican City when it comes to observance. And I just noticed that during, for example, Easter week, and how serious Easter week was taken, where nothing was really open. It was very, going really anywhere on that weekend was almost a no-go, whereas in the United States, then pretty much everything is open. You might find one place closed on Easter Sunday, a couple places, but by and large, America is open during Easter, not in the Philippines. And to me, and this is just something that, this is my personal opinion, that appears to be the strategy of his attorney, right? And obviously, an attorney would want to appeal to anything you can appeal.
Of course, it's a strategy in a way to make him avoid accountability, get him out of jail, and because apparently he's not doing well in jail, so anything to get him out of accountability and out of jail and make him free is, though of course they use the Philippines' his own religion to see if they can get out using that, but I don't think it's going to work.
Appeal to, and that's something you certainly could appeal to, which is the moral sentiment of a nation saying, okay, think about this way, right? But once again, that's not the only factor that would chime in here. And I will also say that, frankly, the individual morality does not necessarily echo in what legal sentencing should be. But that going on, Vitaly is attempting to petition for bail. Bail is not a right for foreigners. Now, bail is enshrined in the Constitution for Filipinos, but it's not a right for foreigners. And there's a very good reason for that. And I'm going to read you and thank you to Angel Chase for sending this over to me. This is a section on bail from the Philippines, which is factors in granting or denying bail. So the judge considers the following when looking at bail: the nature of the deportation charge, the immigration status of the foreigner, the physical condition and age of the foreigner, humanitarian considerations, and such other considerations that will guide the commissioner in determining whether the foreigner is a flight risk, underlying flight risk, and or a threat to the public interest. Well, I think Vitaly is trying to focus on his physical condition and his humanitarian consideration. So he's trying to say, oh, I am, I'm changed, the kind of moral side of it there. And also I'm in such a bad mental condition. I'm breaking down. I have mental health issues. But the problem is a lot of these things are against him. First of all, he is not elderly. He is a person who styles himself as a healthy male. A healthy adult male is the prime candidate for staying behind bars. That's the prime category of a normal age adult male behind bars. That's kind of what the general expectation is. The immigration status, obviously, he does not have a business there, a wife there.
Also, for clarity, he is only 33 years old. So he's not really old.
He doesn't have some sort of support network. So there's nothing that's going to benefit that I would see to benefit that. Obviously, he's already been branded or is being branded a undesirable alien. So the nature of the deportation, well, this is a big thing for him because nobody will take him. So the question is, like, they wouldn't even know where to send him if he went off and what's going on. So
yeah, because Russia doesn't want him, neither does the U.S. want him. So where do you send him to?
I don't think that helps him. But the last one, flight risk, I think is the biggest step against Vitaly because he has funds. He has money. Vitaly is not broke. Vitaly does have money. And if they do let him out from behind bars, it is highly likely that Vitaly will try some method to escape the Philippines, some method to get out of there and to escape any sort of punishment. He absolutely 100% has the resources to attempt to do that. There are very many high-profile cases of people that have done that lately. There's, in fact, very good cases that have been recently where people have fled the country. There's a Chinese national that did that on some very serious charges. That's a whole other story. But I think that is the factor. If I was the judge, that I would look at and saying, hey, he is really motivated to get out of there. And he is someone that has the means to do it and all the incentive to do it. And as soon as he does that, he can turn around and brag about escaping from the Philippines. He can turn around and rub it in their face, just like the other nuisance streamers, just like the Johnny Somalis of the world that get away. And as soon as they get out of the country, they turn around and they mock the people of that country. I absolutely think he should not be granted bail. But what do you think in the comments below? Let me know.
Absolutely not.
And I'll catch you on the.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
All right, I'm gonna do one more, which is one I missed because it was long and I didn't have time. So
The Planet Fitness Black Card.
Okay.
Recover in the Black
Oh
Card
yes,
Spa.
Planet Fit.
Let's get through this PowerPoint a bit. I do want to talk about this for a second. Okay. So as preparation for today, to get you guys kind of in the mood and in the mindset, today we have the trial in the Western District Courthouse at 10:40. It's in the Mapo-Gu District.
Okay,
is it
clear? This was 2 weeks ago, which was on the 17th of May. So obviously it's way past, but I didn't get to react to it, so we're going to react to it now.
In Seoul, South Korea, in room 406. It will be a fully packed courtroom based on all the photos, based on everything I'm hearing from the trial. It is very full. It may get to standing room only inside the trial. Today is just a plea hearing. It is not sentencing, meaning there's going to be a lot of clickbait out there today. I know it because I always see these videos and they're super ultra clickbait. You know, like there's going to be the videos, Somali gets 30 years in jail. That's not going to happen today. That's false news. That's fake news. Don't fall for it. You know, people are going to say that. That's not true. It's just pleas. So even if today Somali pleads guilty to everything, it's not over. We have to, even if he pleads guilty, we have to hear from the victims. We have a victim that has officially registered a lawyer in this case and got all the case files. I believe that's Bong Bong. And there may be others, but at least Bong Bong will probably testify. Now, remember, as I put out the last couple of weeks, Johnny Somali, Ramsey Khalid Ismail, has spent the last months trying to pressure Bong Bong, trying to blackmail her, trying to shame her against testifying. The court does not take well to that. That's an aggravating factor, meaning it makes it worse for Johnny Somali. So we're going to have a day for her to testify. How about the convenience store worker? That might be another day. How about other people that were on the bus in the metro? They may testify. Each of these dates for testifying, even for one witness, could be spread out over months, meaning one witness could be in June, one could be in July, one could be in August, one could be in September. We could have just witness testimony taking 4 months. That's completely possible, and that's not counting any witnesses Johnny wants to bring. So if Johnny wants to bring his boo, Hank, Han Jong-yu, of course, his roommate, ally, financial supporter, possible romantic interest, who knows? This is, and he wants to put him on stand to testify for him. This is going to be a whole nother day as well. And these are all spaced out by a month. So at month intervals, we are going to have more and more and more of this. And then there is closing statements. So then we have closing statements from the prosecution and for the defense. And finally, after that, we have sentencing. That's its own day. It's literally Judgment Day. That's what it's called. And that's the day where if Ramzi Khalid Ismail gets jail time, he will be physically hauled off. So if on sentencing day, on Judgment Day, if he gets jail time, he will be physically put in cuffs, dragged off, and dragged off straight to prison, going right away, getting locked up right away. He doesn't get to give Hanky Poo a hug. He doesn't give him a last kiss. He gets to go off and he gets to, sit and enjoy his time in prison. That is Judgment Day. But Judgment Day is months away. It is not today. So I know a lot of people want this to be over. That's not how Korea works. In Korea, the process is the punishment. So, this is what you get. You FAFO. You mess around in a foreign country.
Yeah, you mess around, even if it's not foreign, you break the laws as well and just mess around to the point people are fed up. You eventually get what's coming.
You are dealing with their bureaucracy. We're also
Yeah, you deal with their laws, their punishment, their ruling system, and how the court works for them.
Covering the case of Vitaly in the Philippines. Vitaly's court process is set to take 2 to 3 years. So anybody complaining that Korea is in a
Yeah, it's going to be 2 to 3 before they even get to the court system part.
Efficient. Look at the Philippines. That'll take 2 to 3 years. By the way, in America, just so you guys know, criminal cases, especially large criminal cases, can often take 2 to 3 years to go down. We were watching, less than a year ago, the trial of Sarah Boone. This is a trial that happened during COVID and didn't go down till essentially this year. So trials can take a long time, guys. This is due process. You are allowed that process, and that process isn't meant to punish the defendant necessarily, but to actually allow them to prepare a good defense. It's actually the defense that usually needs the time to prepare as well. So this is something that Johnny Somali is finding out about as he has to stay in Seoul, South Korea. Now, many of you have seen this chart. This chart is a chart I've been showing about the current charges. It has the case number, the date of the indictment, the merger. But I am, of course, I'm a man of the PowerPoint, so I wanted to make a more colorful chart. So I in my wisdom last night before I went to bed, I went and made this colorful chart here that goes through all those charges in a more summarized version. I'm going to go through these right now today, but let me see. Did we get a little answer here yet? 20 minutes is scheduled to start. It's full, but there's more foreigners than last time. The Korean press may not be able to get a seat because they're coming a little bit late. So that's an update from inside the courtroom. Once again, I'm getting the live updates right here. There's a lot of foreigners. Apparently the foreigners, some of them, it's their first time in a Korean courtroom, so they don't know that they have to be quiet. I think they're maybe a little bit loud. So
Wait, what? Isn't that how most courts work? You have to be quiet. You can't be disruptive at all. I swear that's how most courts worked.
Any foreigners, if you visit the courtroom, make sure you keep it quiet, keep the volume down. You also have to have your phones off. There's no video recording or audio recording. Now, you can bring your laptop into the courtroom, but you got to keep your phone off. Very interesting. Laptop can be on, phone can be off, but no recording.
Also, if you get your phone taken away, they have to destroy it. If you have your phone on and it makes an alarm, I'm pretty sure they destroy your phone. So, don't have it on.
And we've got 20 minutes, actually 19 now till we start. So let's get through these charges here, and then I'll try to work through these 90 super chats. I will work through them in the largest to the smallest. Sorry, that's just the only reasonable way to do it. And we will get to all of them. If I don't get to all, I will do it. We'll stay here till we get through all of them and through the trial is done. So until that trial is done. Now remember, the judge has warned him if he shows up late, he will be in contempt of court. So we'll talk about that. But let's first talk about these charges. The first one is obstruction of business. That carries a penalty of a maximum of...
Which I'm pretty sure he did show up late and drunk. Unless it's the second time.
5 years in prison. We also, in the facts that are supporting that one is the disrupting of 7-Eleven. That is throwing ramen, making threats to the staff, etc. He has already pled guilty.
Procrastination isn't your fault. It's
To that.
Okay.
So when you plead guilty, you are a convicted criminal effectively under Korean law. So Johnny Somali, it is not defamation for me to say that Johnny Somali is a convicted criminal the second he pled to that first count.
I mean, he pled it 3 times. At least at this point, I think he did non-guilty, and I think this one's been yet to be determined. So as of today, not as of this recording, he's pled guilty 3 times, non-guilty 2, and this one I think is yet to be actually put out yet. So you pled guilty 3 times, you are a convicted criminal at this point.
He's a convicted criminal in the Republic of South Korea. It's done already. He pled guilty. It's locked in. Next, you had the Minor Crimes Act. You actually have 2 counts of that, count 1 and count 2. That carries a fine or up to 30 days detained. He was harassing people with a rotten fish for no reason at all, going around and swinging it in people's faces, asking them questions, bringing it around them. He has already pled guilty to that, as well as creating a disruption on the bus and metro system, which is Minor Crimes Act number 2. Once again, a fine, 30 days for that. And he has pled guilty. So he has pled guilty on 3 counts. So today we are here in the courtroom. The purpose is to turn that orange, which is undecided TBD, to be decided today. We are turning that orange to red. So we're going to find out both the facts, meaning what are the facts that support these crimes, as well as the pleas for the second obstruction of business. Now that carries, once again, another max 5 years, but we are pretty sure, my guess is that is for Lotte World. We know that they were investigating charges related to child sexual harassment, which they did decide to drop. However, we are trying to get those charges reopened. The Somali conviction team is working hard to submit new evidence to get those things reopened, which will bring the child sexual harassment back. But for now, we have obstruction of business for Lotte World, and that is going to be decided today. He's going to have to plead guilty or not guilty. Now, if you ask Legal Mindset's opinion on this, and this is where we get into my opinion. Now, I am not a Korean lawyer, but I am an American lawyer, and I have been following Ramsey. I do know Ramsey's psychology very well. I do know this case very well. I also was listening to the strategy of his defense lawyer, which, by the way, his defense lawyer filed something yesterday, a defense opinion, which led me to believe when I saw that filing that he is going to go forward today, and they're going to make it to trial today, and they're not going to cancel today. So all the indications once he made that filing last night were we were a go, which was great news for me, especially when I was coming back from my vacation. So I expect him to plead guilty on this. So I expect that for this charge, the obstruction of business number 2, I expect this will be a guilty. Why? He's already pled guilty to 1. He thinks this charge is a joke. So I expect he's going to plead guilty to this. I'm pretty confident. I'm going to say 90% confident that he is going to plead guilty to this obstruction of justice count number 2. However, when we get to the deepfakes, that's where I'm not sure. So both him and his attorney hate the deepfake charges. They hate them. They think that the law is unjust. They think the law is BS. And Johnny said he was going to go full O.J. Simpson on the deepfake charges. These are very serious. They carry a maximum of 10.5 years in prison. That is mandatory prison time. Some of these others, like obstruction, you can get a fine. So for obstruction, he could just be fined. For deepfakes, based on how he's charged, they've got to give some sort of jail time. Now, they can issue what's called a suspended sentence, which means we're issuing jail time, but we're suspending that and giving you 0 time effectively. That's kind of like a probation. I don't think they're going to do that at this point if he's found guilty based on what he's done. That's only for very good boys who are very sorry and have done nothing else wrong, and that was the only thing that they did wrong, really. That is not Johnny Somali. Now, both of these have a max of 10.5 years. That's, of course, 21 years. So this is where we get to the 31 number. 21 here, and then 5 and 5. That's 31 maximum.
All right, Necronol. See you later.
I don't think they're going to give him 31 years. I don't think they're going to give the absolute maximum. I do think they'll give some number of years. However, the first deepfake is for, I think, Bong Bong. I have spoken to Bong Bong. So now I thought about interviewing her, but upon conferring with several people, I think that's a bad idea because she hasn't testified yet. And I do not want anything that I interview people on to damage the...
Again, to travel back to this, where is it? Deepfake. Against deepfake, which is why Johnny Somali needs to be stopped, because I feel like other people think they can do it to larger things, such as a K-pop agency, entertainment industry. So this is why it should also be stopped, because we're seeing bigger situations of it happening, not just small cases of Bong Bong and stuff. So to circle back to that one.
Prosecution of Johnny Somali. So if I was to interview her, she could be cross-examined, meaning the defense attorney could attack her on that, attack her on the interview.
That's a fair point. Since she hasn't testified, some of that stuff could be also maybe thrown out. I don't know.
If there's any inconsistencies, if there are any other things that she says publicly. So I am not going to interview her until after she testifies, which I'm pretty sure she will do. So that is my call on that. After she testifies, we can talk to her all we want, but not before. So that's the call on that. Once again, my goal is to protect the conviction of Johnny Somali. It's not to farm clout. I do not want to damage the prosecution in any way, shape, or form. I want this guy to go away for as much time as possible. That's my overriding number one thing. That's why they can't stop me. That's why when they try to defame me, attack me, threaten to attack me with HIV needles, threaten my family, give me death threats, send me hateful messages, make up all sort of bullshit, lies, defamation, all sorts of stuff, I just shrug it off because my goal is to convict Johnny and nothing else is going to stop me from that. I'm on that mission. The last thing is, and I've talked to some of the Korean streamers about this, this last count, deepfake count number 2, this is likely against the Korean streamers. So there's several Korean streamers where there were deepfakes, Dalgun, Youngman, Bang TV, J Company. Many of them had deepfakes. Some of them were with Hank as well. I didn't know. There were deepfakes of Hank kissing several Korean streamers. And maybe they were made by Hank. I don't know. But, some of them were at least distributed by Johnny, possessed by Johnny. So we're going to find out whether they were, whether the second count is for Korean streamers or not. We'll figure out which ones perhaps today that will be decided as well. And once again, we'll get guilty pleas. So we'll be able to change those TBDs to a more concrete
which they have. They're both, the last two are both not guilty. He pleaded, but he's guilty, and I'm pretty sure the last one probably also not guilty. I think that one hasn't been determined yet. So
color later. So that's what we have there. Let me make sure there's no updates from the team here. Of course, once again, we've still got 10 minutes left. Okay, so the courtroom is getting pretty full. So there may not be very many seats in the courtroom. Also, I want to show this video. This is courtesy of Johnny So Somali. Note exactly what Johnny said about the judge. So this is very relevant. This is what Johnny said about the judge. By the way, somebody in the chat asked, is RKI and Hank there? They are not there yet. It is 10 minutes before their trial. They are not yet in the courtroom. So RKI and Hank are not yet in the courtroom. My guess is they are hiding out. They're probably scared, and they are probably hiding out. So they're probably doing that before the courtroom. Here's what they had to say about the judge. And mind you, the judge definitely has seen this. Let's play the video.
The judge, the prosecutor, y'all can suck my.
Let's.
Oh, lovely. That's gonna help you.
Did you guys hear that in the back? Did everybody hear that?
Yeah, suck my dick on soft. Causing anxiety by carrying a fish. Tell the judge you can suck my. I'll bring a fish to your mother's house, bitch.
Threatening the judge's mother.
Good idea. Good job.
Literally, how low can you go? Once again, I think it is absolutely disgusting. Ramsey Khalid Ismail threatens people's families all the time. He's threatened the judge's family, the prosecutor's family, my family, everybody, really. He's a disgusting, horrible, immoral person. And this is why, once again, I feel zero sympathy for this person. He has caused all sort of unnecessary collateral damage, unnecessary attacks, unnecessary comments above and beyond the pale of normal morality.
I don't care.
He doesn't know Hank's address and apartment number where he's. That is
well.
Yeah, he kept answering that he didn't know. But it's bad. It looks really bad for him.
Then he said, "I don't know because I don't speak Korean." And then the judge said, "You can speak English." Because the judge.
The nigga told me, what's the address? I'm like, I don't know how to tell you. How do I say ching chong, ching ching ching? How can I say that to you?
That's wild.
I don't speak your language.
Essentially, he got in trouble for number one, wearing the hat.
I didn't get in trouble. I don't speak
He
Korean.
did get in trouble.
He did.
I don't know what these saying.
So once again, using racial slurs, threatening the judge's mother. Do you think this is going to go well for him here today? I mean, does anybody think this is going to go well for him here today? Absolute insanity in my book. I have not, once again, and in my career as a lawyer, I have not seen stuff like this in a while, or ever, really. Let's go. We have another obstruction of business charge. The defendant made a disruption at Lotte World, which caused the ride to be shut down. Are they adding a third count? Interesting. So hold on. We now have Lotte World as well. So Lotte World has also come in. So I was right. So technically, sorry, guys, I was right. So there's another obstruction for Lotte World that's come in. That wasn't even filed in the court record. That may be a third. This may be a new count of obstruction. There may be 3 counts. It's actually unclear right now because this was just brought up. It wasn't even in the court record. So I'm not sure whether they're bringing that as part of the second obstruction charge. Let me pull this up here. Or as part of the, this is what we have today is the current status. I'm updating this as we go. So right now, guys, we got loud music on the bus in Lotte World. This may be a third count. They may be separating this into a third count and maybe having 1 count for the loud music and 1 count for Lotte World. We do not know yet. We know this is Korean streamers, the men, and we know this is Bong Bong. All right, guys, we have an official plea. We have an official plea from Ramsey Khalid Ismail, and he is now pleading guilty to the obstruction of justice. He is pleading guilty to the obstruction of justice. And we have a bombshell here, ladies and gentlemen. We have something that is going to change the game for this entire trial, and it's going to drag it out for so much longer. And that is the defendant has just pled not guilty to the deepfakes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he has pled not guilty to the deep fakes. That means we are now going to have a full trial, which is going to go on for months of evidence and counter evidence.
Probably not the smartest thing to do, because if you just pled guilty, it would have been whatever.
On the deep fakes, there's going to have to bring in expert witnesses. They're going to have to, do all that for that specific charge. Ladies and gentlemen, this completely changes the game. And I am all here for that. So now I can fully show you the chart. It's been redone. Let me get this thing saved and get this uploaded. It's definitely not going to be perfectly centered, but here is now the update on the plea status. Now, once again, this hearing is not over yet. So we could have more information coming out. He has now pled guilty to obstruction number 1. Minor Crimes Act count 1. Minor Crimes Act count 2.
So I was wrong. It's 4 guilty, 2 not guilty.
Obstruction count 2. He's pled guilty to 4. He has pled not guilty to deepfake count 1, deepfake count 2. Right? So the ones that carry up to 21 years in prison, mandatory prison time. We're now going to have a full trial, ladies and gentlemen. If he starts acting up, yelling at people, yelling at fans, if there's interactions, we're going to get those guys for you play by play. As I'm here calling the shots in Bangkok, I'm kind of the shot caller here as the Somali conviction team on the ground is going. Okay, so we have an update on the procedure. Here's an update. The Lotte World obstruction was combined with the first deepfake, which means there are now 7 charges. 2 Minor Crimes Act, 2 deepfakes, 3 obstruction of justice. All right, here we go. So this is the new accurate chart, which your boy has edited today, even as a boomer. I've managed to get this thing done. Here are all 7 charges. He's guilty on the first obstruction, guilty on Minor Crime Act number 1, guilty on Minor Crimes Act number 2, guilty on obstruction number 2, not guilty. He's pled not guilty. Once again, the prosecutors are going to try to prove this on deepfake count 1, deepfake count 2. He's pled not guilty, and Lotte World. That's the new obstruction. That's count 3, and he's pled guilty on that. So that is the updates. Let's see what we have from the courtroom. The judge asked for evidence of innocence of the deepfake. So the judge has just asked the lawyer, what evidence do you have that Johnny is guilty? Here's what the lawyer said. The lawyer said he doesn't have any evidence that Johnny is innocent. So
that doesn't help. That's not helpful for him. You have no evidence Johnny's innocent, so that means he's guilty.
Now Johnny is going to have to try to find some evidence because he has no evidence of his own innocence. The victim is going to testify in the deepfake case, which means Bong Bong is going to testify, in the Korean streamers, the ones I interviewed, Dalgun, J Company, Bang TV, Jungman, they're all going to testify. So they're going to come up against him in court. The same people that he tried to sue, Dalgun, that he filed the charges against, is going to get to testify and stare at him. Dalgun, who punched him in the face, physically, is going to get to legally punch him in the face again. That is awesome. They're now out of the trial. So they've now stepped out of the room. The next trial date will be in a month. So we're going to have 1 month for the next trial date. That's going to be in. Oh, I'm sorry. I am incorrect, guys. I am incorrect. We have an even better update. Okay, Hank is outside the courtroom cursing people out. Hank is now outside the courtroom cursing at people. So I have a live update. Hank is cursing people.
Good job.
People outside the courtroom. He's spurging out. He's just going crazy. Apparently, we're going to get video of it, probably in Korean news. He's going off on the fans. He's going off on the media. He is not having a good time. So Hanky Poo is very angry right now. Johnny is yelling at Hank, telling him no crashing out, no crashing out. Hank cannot control himself. He is losing it right now, according to everyone outside. They switched roles for the day, apparently. So I guess Hank is the attack dog today. Guys, we have the next trial date. The next trial date is August 11th, 2025. It will be a full date of testimony. And there will be
that last one we haven't seen yet, since that's not until another 2 months.
a full day. He is not going to have another day in court until August, ladies and gentlemen, until August. And this will not be the final day in court. This is just one of many. August. So this is going to be a very big day in court, and it's going to be a long one too. So it's going to be a very long one, not one. I have now reports that Hank and Johnny accidentally walked into the basement. They didn't know where they were going, and they accidentally walked into the basement. Probably because Hank is so mad. He was crashing out on people, yelling at people. He's so upset about everything that went down and being hit with new charges. They were hit with a charge today, ladies and gentlemen, that they had no idea about. Not even I, and I have the court records. I didn't even know about the obstruction charge because the prosecution, I guess there's this weird, I guess they combined it somehow. So this is a very interesting thing. I have access to the court records, so I know everything that's going on. But I guess they combined it, so we didn't see it till today. So we actually had a surprise today. We had a new charge. So now we have a brand new charge. We have 5 guilty pleas, 2 not guilty pleas, and we have a full day coming up in which his own lawyer said they have absolutely zero evidence in his defense. Think about that, guys. If your lawyer says you have no evidence that you're innocent, what does that mean? What does that mean?
That means you're not innocent.
That means you're absolutely 100% cooked.
Everyone said to go to a traditional
It means you're guilty. All right, I'm gonna put legal mindsets thing in the thing. All right, if you want to follow that. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. If you like my coverage of MADEIN, K-pop related, Korean entertainment, Asian entertainment, also Johnny Somali related, maybe consider subscribing, like the stream, and comment your thoughts. If you're watching at the end, your thoughts on the video. My guess, I think it's 5 years, maybe. My guess is 5 at the max. Right now, the max is 30. He's at 36 years in prison. But do I think he's going to be that way? No. But if you're watching on the rewatch, like, comment at the end, and I will, unless something happens before Monday, I will catch you on Monday. Until then, see ya. See ya.
Blizzard Arena. Welcome to the Blizzard Arena.
And the quest for a champion begins today.
The anticipation has been building, and it is finally time. We are live.
That is a really. Can you get over the roof there? Oh my!
Oh my! What a play! What a grab!
Another jump here on the high ground. Super goes forward, but gets stuck up. The EMP comes in, and Ding, he rains down hell from above. Here comes Pine. Gets one, gets two. Looking for a bit more, gets another one. Tsuno down again. That heralds disaster generally for the Fusion, and Carpe wasn't far behind. Prophet, he's killed 4 players now on his own. circle around. I'm gonna call this the merry-go-round because it makes me laugh, makes me happy, and Sean Paul switches to the Widowmaker at just the right time. Oh, the gravy! The
I'm the best person in the world.
You could have told me that you spoke English, honestly.
The fans never thought they'd see this day. It took 43 matches. Feels like a really emotional moment here.
Sorry.
All right, I will see y'all later.